Tonight on CTV3 News, police investigate how a man from Yule Creek sustained cut wounds to the hand and forehead. Voir dire in the case of the Bladen 12 resumed in the Belize City Court. Weather experts predict extremely active 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. And Belizeans expected to witness extreme heat way into the month of May. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, April 4th, 2024.
Rural High School, Ladyville Technical High School, San Pedro High School, Belmopan Comprehensive School, the biggest secondary school in the country, Mr. Speaker. The biggest secondary school, Belmopan Comprehensive School, bursting at the seams. Mopan Technical High School, Valley of Peace, SDA Academy, Shunush San Viator Vocational High School, Escuela Secundaria Técnica, Mexico, Belize High School of Agriculture, Orange Walk Technical High School, Bella Vista Government Secondary School, and Julian Cho Technical High School. So all across the country, and I have said to my colleagues, and I say it here to the Belizean people, this project is coming to every corner of our country.
Yes, I give her 50 times ending, now me have to pay.
Where you going, bruh? The who they stress you out again, Namule?
Boy, I don't believe I the fool again.
Again?
But I mess up this time for real, for real. You really want to know?
Yes.
I want here.
Can't make it a big deal.
We know
Sean,
what that.
I know how you going now.
Oh, man.
You really want to know?
Yeah?
Take my plan, and I give her. I take my plan and put it in a name.
Wait, so tell me something. You still pay for this plan?
Yeah. But hear this. This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize. This plan, I can't left this plan, yeah. This plan, I can't left this plan. Postpaid plan. This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize, get unlimited data. Smart choice plan can light up your day. Postpaid with eSIM, make everything better. Just visit Smart showrooms today. Boom! I can't left this plan. I can't left this plan. Can't left this plan. I can't left this plan. Affordable for everyone. I can't left this plan. The postpaid plan, cause the data really strong.
Man caller, you know why? Listen, for the best post and prepaid. You know that smart got you back.
My bad. Wrong commercial. She could left me for another man. The truth, once I have my plan, once I have my Smart Plus plan, I no worry cause the data strong. I know when the bleed, cause that's all I need. And you could tell me where you are, but I never left this plan. Smart have the best services. We post your plan have everything, so you could talk and text unlimited. Come set up your group, we got share plan 1 and 2. Up to 10 friends can connect anywhere. Boom! I can't left this plan. I can't left this plan. The postpaid plan, cause the data really strong. Don't dig it down, don't dig it down, don't dig it down. Smart Belize. Don't dig it down, 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 don't dig it. Smart, bringing people together.
Twitter news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Police in Orange Walk are tonight investigating an incident in the village of Ewe Creek which resulted in one person being injured. Police responded to reports of a stabbing in the village earlier today where they found Pedro Carrillo bleeding profusely and they transported him to the Northern Regional Hospital for treatment. Carrillo was observed to be suffering from a cut wound to the hand and forehead. However, he was under the influence of alcohol and was unable to tell police how he sustained the injuries. Police are investigating this incident. The void door in the case of the Bladen 12 resumed this week in Belize City. The 12 men are facing trial for the landing of a drug plane on the Southern Highway on November 5, 2021. During Wednesday's court session, the prosecution called its fifth and sixth witnesses, which included Police Corporal Jose U and Martin Carl JP. Both witnesses gave testimony as the court continues to determine if one of the accused, Moises Perez, was abused in any way when giving his statement. Following yesterday's court session, the media spoke to defense attorney Leroy Banner and the head of the prosecution's branch, Alifa Elrington, who spoke more of the ongoing void door, which is expected to see 4 more witnesses for the prosecution.
The person who recorded the caution statement testified today and it was tendered. So she does mark it to say it is enter into evidence.
What does that mean? Because at the end of the voir dire, she will decide whether the caution statement will be accepted into evidence, is what we understand.
Yeah, that is so. So at this stage, it's just we're going through the process. Then she will decide. Now, hearing both sides, if it was given freely and voluntarily, then she will admit into evidence formally. So right now, it is tender into evidence. And if she decides that, okay, I'm satisfied that it was given freely, in compliance with the Evidence Act now, I would admit it. But at this stage now, we're not at that stage as yet.
She also said that she is not looking at the content right now. What does that mean?
Okay, that means because when it comes to a caution statement, what is important is not the truth of the caution statement. What is important is that when the police got the statement, was it given freely? Was the person beaten? Was he threatened? Those are the questions. So it's not per se if it's the truth. We're not concerned about the truth. We are concerned if the police follow the Evidence Act. Was there any force? Was there any inducement? Was there any promise? If the magistrate decides that none of those things happen, then she could admit the statement. But we're far from that stage, sir.
Because the defense has been alleging or is suggesting that they were beaten and beaten and beaten for all the time that they were in police custody, and therefore they had no other reason but to give these statements because the police were beating them and beating them and beating them. I believe that on the last occasion I told the court that we would have about 10 witnesses for the voir dire. So if we're at about 6, then I have about 4 more witnesses.
High temperatures are being recorded and reported across the world. In Belize, the scorching sun has forced hundreds of Belizeans to hit the sea, rivers, and lagoons across the country. But this is just the beginning of the extreme heat that Belize is expected to face off and which will continue way into the month of May.
And to answer your question, though, yes, it is not only for the day. It is an all-time record. So we have checked all the records for different months, for different years, and what we have seen is that we have never gotten 100 degrees Fahrenheit here at the airport. So this is a first. So the peak is typically late April on into May. May is typically the hottest month. So for it to occur in this early part of April is indeed something to be concerned about because we are actually, I would say, still in the beginning of the heat season and we're not at the peak yet.
What was the highest before that 99.9?
If I may recall correctly, and I don't have it in degrees Fahrenheit, I apologize. You may need to convert it, but it was 37.3 degrees Celsius. So if you want to compare them as Celsius to Celsius, that was 37.3, and yesterday we had 37.7. So it's about 0.4 degrees Celsius higher than the record that we had before. And the last record actually was set in early 2000s. I don't have the exact year, but it was in the early 2000s. Yes, as we have indicated before, we have climate variability and of course climate change. So at times when conditions are right, you will have extremely hot years and then you will have it dipping. But as I've said before, we are in a trend of increasing temperatures. So even though you will have years that are cooler than others, the trend is for it to be gradually increasing, and that has been the case for the past, at least for all the record that we have going back to 1960. We have clear graphics that show that we are in a trend of increasing temperatures, and that is clearly attributable to climate change. There is no doubt about it.
These temperatures are certainly the warmest the world has experienced in recent memory. However, a stagnant cold front sits in the Yucatan Peninsula, which favors less heat in the last couple of days as per the Met Office.
The cold front is not technically a cold front, meaning that it's not crossing the country. So it's a stationary front. It has stalled over Yucatan, so it's not over Belize at the moment. We expect it to diffuse over the area, so it is actually weakening as we speak over Yucatan. The tail end of it is forecast to drift over Belize. Because it's a late season front, we don't expect it to create any sort of cold air. However, we do note that conditions compared to yesterday are is slightly cooler. Let's put this in context. So yesterday we saw record highs. For your information, and this is perhaps the first media host that is hearing this, we broke record here at the airport, an all-time record yesterday. So we recorded 99.9 degrees Fahrenheit, which is basically 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's the first time in history since we have been keeping record at this station that we have seen such a high temperature at the airport. So that's something to note. Compared to yesterday, like I said, with the approach and the nearness of the stationary front, conditions are cooler than it was yesterday.
The Atlantic hurricane season officially commences on June 1st, 2024, and this year forecasters are predicting an extremely active Atlantic hurricane season with 23 named storms. Weather experts at Colorado State University predict that there could be 11 hurricanes, 5 of which are expected to become Category 3, 4, or 5, meaning they have wind speeds of at least 111 miles per hour. Forecasters believe that the main reasons for this could be extreme levels of Atlantic Ocean heat and a seasonal switch to La Nina, a natural pattern of variability. Ocean temperatures have been record high for a year, which makes powerful storms more likely and can enable them to intensify more quickly. Weather experts say that an extremely active hurricane season means that there could be extremely powerful hurricanes and even catastrophic ones. An average Atlantic hurricane season has 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes, Category 3 or above. Every year, the World Meteorological Organization selects hurricane names in advance. However, if a hurricane is particularly deadly or costly, its name is retired and replaced by another one. The 2024 storm names are Alberto, Beryl, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto, Francine, Gordon, Helen, Isaac, Joyce, Kirk, Leslie, Milton, Nadine, Oscar, Patty, Raphael, Sarah, Tony, Valerie, and William. The public is reminded to remain alert and listen to official information by the National Emergency Management Organization or the National Met Service of Belize as the time draws near to the start of the hurricane season. Around 1 p.m. today, a traffic accident was registered in Corozal town. The driver of this black SUV was lucky to exit the vehicle unscathed. However, that much cannot be said for the vehicle, which was extensively damaged to the front. While the cosmetic value can be replaced, drivers are encouraged to be mindful of the road traffic rules since lives are at stake at all times. While there is no report of the accident from police, we can tell you that the scene was processed in record time and the traffic resumed to normalcy shortly after. The Great Blue Hole, located off the coast of Belize City, has been named as one of the many wonders of the world. Many tourists come from across the world to visit the Blue Hole, as it has been declared one of the top 5 scuba sites in the entire world. As one of the top destinations in our country, the Orange Walk chapter of the Belize Tourism Association, BTIA, is hosting an execution at the end of April to allow Orange Walkenians the opportunity to visit the Blue Hole in person.
We have our excursion, the Blue Hole, the Great Blue Hole and Half Moon Key excursion, which is dated to April 28th. We have our price range for children and adults. Price for children from 10 to 14 is $150, and then from 14 and above is $200. The price entails the chartered bus and boat for the excursion, the entrance fee to Half Moon Key, and also the visit of the Blue Hole. And well, the bus for that day on April 28th will be at 5 a.m. leaving sharp. We encourage everyone who has been appointed to this excursion to be able to be early on time, so we don't have a holdback on when that time comes, so everyone gets on board and be able to go early.
The execution to the Blue Hole is an annual event which BTIA Orange Walk hosts as a fundraiser to also help promote tourism in our country.
Gives everybody the opportunity to visit the wonders of what we have in Belize, and Belize is full of many beautiful scenic sites. It is a wonderful day, especially if it's a sunny, bright day, to go out onto these pristine waters and really visit what we have at hand. We do these types of excursions to also help facilitate our center. It gives us the opportunity to be able to give back to the community by making some awareness campaigns. We do things for our elderly over the course of the year, Christmas time. We try to bring out more awareness of the tourism umbrella that is in Orange Walk. As you know, Orange Walk is becoming very popular in various areas. We have all the resources available. We have water, we have industrial areas, we have culinary, we have businesses. We're rich in culture. So at the end of the day, we as BTIA, Belize Tourism Industry Association, tries hard to bring out the best in what we have available. You know, agriculture is one of them as well, so many things happening at the same time. Blue Hole and the other atoll, Lighthouse, has been there for a while, and they're located at about approximately 55 miles away from Belize City. And so with that in turn, when leaving here at 5 a.m. in the morning, it kind of gives us the opportunity to be there early, enjoying most of the day. The boat that we're using is very spacious. It can accommodate quite a huge number. It has its own private bathroom. It has space in general. As Yahida had mentioned earlier in reference to the differences in cost, it's because of the fact that we have kids are 10 to 12 can be sort of independent. We don't encourage much of the kids, very young kids, because it's a long day, the sun is hot, it's a lot of back and forth, you know, it could be something different, you know. And then the adults, well, they're very independent. So on the boat themselves, we also have a life jacket. We encourage you to bring your own food. We encourage you to bring your own taste bud, whatever you'd like to have with you.
The deadline to sign up for this one-in-a-lifetime experience is April 15th, and the cost of the trip is $200 for adults and $150 for children ages 10 to 14.
Okay, we have our number, which is they can contact at 661-3965. Either they give us a call on direct or message us on WhatsApp, or we have other numbers if they can't reach out to that number. Then we have other two numbers which they can reach out at 667-7382, 663-0605. Whichever of those numbers, they can give a call or a WhatsApp, and then they can know how many persons they want to sign up with. And so like that, we can make see and accommodate how they can do their payments, and down payments are available. If you want, you can come here and pay it in cash, or if you're a bit too far to be able to reach out to us, then we can give you our account number and be able to, for you to be able to do your deposit.
Once more, the trip is scheduled for April 28th, and Orange Wakeños are encouraged to be a part of tourism in our own country.
To our friends out there, we are also encouraging businesses to bring your staff, man. Get the staff going. It's a little incentive for them. 4 or 5 persons in a group. Centaur, hey, reach out to us. Belize Bank, all these places that are big institutions. It's a really nice day to take out your staff and enjoy for the day. No? For those that have never had the opportunity, this is a blast. So please call us, let us know what your plans are. People, come and enjoy this great excursion with us, okay?
For more information about this upcoming excursion, you can contact BTIA Orange Walk at phone number 661-3965, 667-7382, or 663-0605. Today, 3 new ministers of state were sworn in before Ambassador Stuart Leslie, Deputy Governor General of Belize. As announced by a cabinet released yesterday, Honorable Jorge Espat joins the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development, Investment, Civil Aviation, and Immigration as Minister of State for Investment under Prime Minister John Briceño. Honorable Marconi Leal was sworn in as the Minister of State in the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing under Julius Espat, and Honorable Alex Baluna was sworn in as the Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise led by Jose Mai. The swearing-in follows the Prime Minister's announcement of a reassignment of portfolios. Coming up next, we'll tell you about a basketball camp hosted by the Running Rebels organization. Stay tuned.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
One day, we decided to gather everyone who loves The Last of Us in one place. The naked and afraid fans, and well, everyone who loves realities. The ones who don't like spoilers, and the ones who do. And those who love Barbie and Peppa Pig. That place is called Max. Well, it's not an actual place. It's on your screens, and there's room for everyone. Max is here to bring you more of the stories that you love. Max, the one to watch.
Students from all ages are currently engaged in a 3-day basketball clinic being hosted by the Running Rebels organization. The camp, which kicked off on Wednesday, is geared at engaging students in a positive manner while also keeping to the organization's motto, which is to give back to the community which they represent. As students joined members of the elite team in today's workout session, we caught up with CEO of the Running Rebels organization, Raul Rosado, who shared more about this latest basketball clinic.
We just really decided to put something quickly together before the kids go back to school after the Easter break. So we come up with this 3-day clinic, or basically come out and do some camp work with them. Again, trying to engage all the kids and the youths that we normally do whenever we do the summer camp. But this one, you can say, is more like an Easter version to it. So we basically split them up in two major groups, U12 and U17. So in the first sessions that goes from like 9 to like 10:45, we have kids from 5-year-old to 12-year-olds, and we usually split them up, that group, into two groups as well, really to just to cater for their needs. Some kids are a little more advanced and some a little more attention, and so we have to always keep that in mind. And even similarly with the other group, the 13 to 17-year-olds, we try to cater for what they have or what they know and see what we can improve, and just kind of focus and give them the time necessary to improve their skills.
Annually, the Rebels organization organizes similar events which Rosado says are geared towards promoting basketball in a fun and positive way.
Like I said, this is something that we came up with just internally, since some of the guys are still here with us. So we said, you know, they would come in and they would be the ones actually coaching and moderating the sessions. And they, you know, these guys have a lot of experience. They have went through training through themselves, so they know a lot of drills, and so that they are passing on. And it's really nice to see, because a lot of these kids are the ones that come to the game and actually look up to these guys when they are playing elite basketball. So it's very fun to have the players come out and teach them, and actually the kids have an opportunity to interact and play with these, train with these players.
The 3-day camp will come to an end on Friday. However, Rosado is inviting kids from across Orange Walk Town to come out to the multipurpose complex and be part of the basketball fun.
Definitely. Yesterday we had a good crowd. I think we had a few more kids today, and we're hoping that tomorrow at the third session it goes up again. Like I say, it's open, it's free. You just need to show up. There's no registration, that sort of stuff. So definitely, we can definitely see some kids that show a lot of potential, and we want to nurture that and embrace them, and just really give them opportunity to have some fun, learn some skills, and learn whatever the camp can teach them outside of the basketball. There's a lot of value that team sports bring to the community to teach these kids. So we want to just be able to capture all of that. For sure, they can still show up tomorrow. It's going to be the third and last day for this series of clinics, but we do want to have some fun tomorrow. I think we're going to have some invited coaches and players again. So I'm sure they have something very exciting and planned for them. We're going to interact in some more games, and we're going to have some snacks and drinks that people have supported us and they have shared with us to try to make it's all about the kids, so we just want to make it more enjoyable and have some treats for them as well.
Once more, the basketball camp takes place at the Orange Walk Multipurpose Complex from 9 to 10:45 a.m. for students ages 5 to 12, and from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for players 13 to 17 years old. On April 8, a total solar eclipse will be visible across parts of Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. from Texas to Maine. A total solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, completely blocking the face of the sun for several minutes. It will be the last time a total solar eclipse passes over a large part of the U.S. until 2044. According to the professionals, the eclipse will be spectacular, and you should program your alarms for around midday on April 8. Ronald Gordon from the Belize Met Service expanded on what he knows about the event.
The National Meteorological Service typically deals with weather information and climate. So our mandate revolves around matters related to weather and climate. However, given that we don't have a designated agency to deal with astronomical information and so forth, we do take up that function as well, no? Including matters related to earthquake, which is seismology. So certainly we do take up many different roles as a department, and that has been the case for many years. So I see that continuing. As it relates to this particular eclipse that is expected to, or that will occur actually on Monday, the 8th of April, Belize is not within the path of totality, which means that we are not going to experience a total solar eclipse. However, we are going to see a partial solar eclipse. From what I'm seeing, we are going to be about 40% of occlusion, which means that about 40% of the sun will be covered by the moon. And that indicates that it will not be very dark. You may recall that we had an annular solar eclipse in October of last year. And that was an eclipse in which the moon basically was within the entire part of entire coverage of the sun, but there was that ring around it, because at that point, the distance between the moon and the earth was not close enough for it to entirely cover the sun. So it's not a total eclipse, but rather described as an annular solar eclipse. In this case, there will be even less coverage. In other words, there will be even less blockage of the sun. So it will not even be as dark as it was for that eclipse that we saw last year. Now, in terms of timing, the information that I have is that it will be starting around about 80 minutes after 11 here local time. The maximum coverage will be about 12:31, and by about 1:45 or so, more or less, it will be all clear.
With the solar eclipse in the distance, weather conditions can be uncertain, says the chief meteorologist. However, watching into the eclipse with your bare eyes can result harmful.
Weather conditions currently, although it's a bit far away, indicate that we'll be under an easterly flow. There's a possibility of isolated showers and the possibility of some cloudiness. We cannot tell for sure if at that particular time it will be cloudy or not. It's not possible to say that. But if it is not cloudy and you're able to look at the sun, which we advise you to do with specialized sunshades, you will maybe see that there's an obstruction between the earth and the sun. You'll see the shadow of the moon, basically, not the shadow, but the actual moon obscuring part of the sun if you look up. If you are not able to look up with those specialized sunshades, you may not even know that there's something covering the sun. It may look like a cloud or something, or it might be, the level of darkness will not be that significant for you to know that there's an eclipse occurring. That's what we expect it to look like at that time.
As part of the continuous fight against road traffic incidents and loss of life on Belize's highways, today the second road safety project handed over much needed equipment to the Department of Transport, DOT, and Police Traffic Unit. The equipment gifted to the DOT includes, among other items, handheld radios, flashlights, handcuffs, retractable speed bumps, first aid kits, checkpoint signs, and binoculars. The Police Traffic Unit received flashlights, binoculars, traffic cones, first aid kits, and reflective safety vest, valued at $196,815 Belize dollars. The equipment is expected to further enhance the DOT's capabilities and efficiency in working with the Police Traffic Unit to better enforce road traffic regulations. Dr. Osman Martinez, CEO for the Ministry of Economic Development, and Mr. Zane Castillo, Project Manager for the Second Road Safety Project, handed over the equipment. Honorable Rodwell Ferguson, Minister of Youth, Sports and Transport, Dr. Gilroy Middleton, CEO in the ministry, and Mr. Leon Gentle, Chief Transport Officer, accepted the equipment on behalf of the Department of Transport. Superintendent Jerome Stephens, head of the Police Traffic Unit, accepted the donation on behalf of the Police Department. The second road safety project is being executed through the Ministry of Economic Development with loan funding from the Caribbean Development Bank. They say music is the food of life, and for Dynamics of Belize, that phrase goes so well. The band recently went through a facelift, seeing it reformation. This time, its members can identify themselves with our younger generation. They came together after the band's founder, Juanita Kawich Nahara, identified their individual talents, and today the men and women who form Dynamics of Belize look forward to keeping her memory alive through music. Elmer Cornejo was at their place of practice in San Joaquin and put together the following story.
A merry heart does good like medicine, and when music is added by the preferred dosage, it adds life back to the soul. That is exactly the ultimatum of this group of youngsters who form part of the Corozal band known as Dynamics of Belize. They say they are serious about music and want to make of the band one that will always shine in memory of their deceased founder, Juanita Kawich Nahara, who passed away 1 month ago, just after finding the members individually and mentoring them for a few months.
Pues el proceso fue un poco difícil, pues porque unirnos todos nosotros pues es muy difícil, pero lo estamos haciendo en memoria de nuestra jefa, mejor conocida como nuestra jefa. Ella siempre quiso vernos a nosotros brillar y entonces se organizó todo esto con esos muchachos jóvenes. Son puros muchachos jóvenes. Soy la única que me quedé, yo y el bajista y un trompetista, creo que se quedaron de todos nosotros, pues ahorita están puros jóvenes. Y pues yo pienso que se va a ir para arriba, pues porque tienen diferentes pensamientos, diferentes formas de seguir adelante.
But one of the members is missing, Elmer Keme. He was shot at by customs officers a few weeks ago and is recovering in Mexico. However, before his incident, he was influential in formalizing and harmonizing all members of the band.
El muchacho que canta, el que cantaba con nosotros, Elmer Keme, pues entre él y Jerome se organizaron. La jefa me llamó que si cómo trabajarían ellos. Le dije que pues son jóvenes y pues tienen un talento que pues deben de usarlo, y pues ella estaba contenta, se organizó entre todos ellos y pues se unieron todos y pues aquí le siguen. Tenemos un sonido muy potente, pues todos queremos trabajar unidos. Yo pienso que como músicos nos debemos de llevar todos como hermanos y no estar, ¿cómo le diré?, en envidias o cosas así. Pues como músicos debemos de llevarnos bien y trabajar unidos. Eso es lo que nuestra jefa quería.
And while the emerging Dynamics of Belize is striving for excellence and looking forward to being your first choice for any event, the members of the band are also students, and completing their education also forms part of their agenda. But until classes resume, the plan is to master the melodies that are Belizean favorites.
Pues la mayoría de nosotros lo hacemos en nuestra casa. Tratamos de practicar nuestras canciones y los domingos veníamos a practicar en el día, porque es el único día que pues no todos trabajan y los estudiantes tampoco, y a veces agarrábamos en las noches para practicar, aunque tarde acabamos de ensayar, pero lo hacíamos. Estamos empezando de nuevo y pues que nos echen esa patadita, como dicen, de la buena suerte, pues que nos contacten. Si necesitan de Dynamics of Belize, pues tenemos a María. Ella está encargada para pues conseguir los contratos, y pues nuestra jefa siempre soñó, estaba súper feliz, la mera verdad. Yo tuve la oportunidad de estar con ella el sábado practicamos ese día y pues ella estaba súper contenta que su hijo le haya dado el band y pues a honor a ella nosotros pues queremos verlo triunfar, ir para arriba, no nos queremos decaer abajo, sino que ese sueño de la estrella como ella soñaba pues se la dedicamos a ella.
Maria Gutierrez is the manager of the band, and she can be reached at phone number 634-3889 for more information. Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, April 5th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.